We all saw it, 12 million views in like 4 days. Let me get something straight. Kill Tony has always been an anti-SNL show. And what I mean by that is that they've always been the yin to SNL's yang. A good example of this is that they had Shane on Kill Tony when he was dropped from SNL. They're also not afraid of being canceled, and most importantly, they've always laughed with the audience instead of being laughed at by the audience. So many times on SNL where a clip would go viral. And it's not because it's hilarious, but it's because SNL is bad, and very rarely do they make hits in this modern era. On the contrary, when Kill Tony clips go viral, it's because it's funny, and in that example, Cam knows that because he's a funny person. Elon Musk is not a funny person. SNL obviously is scripted, and because of that they play off gags and characters and bits rather than stand up and roasting like we see in Kill Tony. Everyone and their mom knows this, but it does bear repeating because there has been an ever so slight tonal shift towards planned bits in the Kill Tony comedic landscape. Let me explain. It is very hard to be funny every week, and this is just objectively true. This is something that the SNL writers and the Kill Tony regulars deal with alike. And every single week, it is hilarious to watch regular-ass people bomb on stage. But when you sit there and watch the esteemed panel of comedians, and even Tony sometimes, just fumble the entire episode, it makes the bucket pulls impossible to sit through. The entire show hinders on the fact that the people sitting behind the red cloth can say something funny about the person standing, or sitting, behind the mic stand. If that single principle cannot be fulfilled, then I hope to God we get 777s with these bucket pulls. And the highlight of most episodes is usually just regulars coming on, or some random million-in-one bucket pull with really good jokes coming from, Tony or wherever. And unfortunately, I may add, Kill Tony is a business. Tony will invite genuinely unfunny people or just random celebrities onto the show just for the sake of getting clicks and running the numbers up, which just adds on to the compensation needed from the bucket pulls or the panel or Tony or wherever to make up for that lost comedic value to make the show worthwhile. Only if there is a way to get clicks while also being extremely consistent comedy-wise, cutting out a lot of uncertainty in the show and still being able to bring on big-name guests. Capitalism leads to innovation. It's probably something you've heard before. Just imagine if every episode of Kill Tony was as viral as the Trump episode. You might be quick to say, "Hey, that was because of a situational variable that can't be easily recreated." First of all, shut the fuck up. What if the episode, instead of having Shane Gillis and Adam Ray, it was literally just Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan, no costumes, and they just talked about Trump and Biden? Sure, it could be even funnier than this episode, theoretically, but people don't like uncertainty. They want to know they're getting a good laugh in exchange for their time. If Tony is a good businessman, he will notice this and adjust the show. The truth is that unless you innovate and adapt, you will be killed off. Kill Tony will reach its demise if it stays on the path it's on now. Yes, there's a kind of X factor in the show that keeps it fresh, but that randomness will only keep die-hard fans coming back. But eventually, it'll lead to new fans being unable to join in. And these diehard fans will burn out as they find the next best thing to watch. This fate has pretty much met every other live comedy show, and you might be quick to say, hey, isn't that just the law of diminishing returns? But there is a way that Tony can fix this, in my opinion, and here's my solution. If Tony sees the power within the Trump and Biden episode, he'll start making panels around a more familiar and bit-centric comedic style, whilst also keeping the fresh improv and jokes coming. He'll slowly implement this over 10 to 20 episodes as to not alienate his core audience. This would be a kind of mashup between scripted SNL style and the roast style of Kill Tony, where each episode would have a set bit or style, some sort of comedic guarantee, in order to hook a viewer or listener. And that kind of comedic guarantee that hooks in the viewer, that's what made the Trump v. Biden episode so viral. You know Shane Gillis will be funny, and you know Theo Vaughn will be funny, but will they be really funny, and will the bucket pulls be any good? This idea is something that could elevate the esteemed panel, which mostly can already be funny on their own, but it gives them a vehicle to take it to the next level. This can also make it infinitely easier for bucket pulls to be funny. An example of this concept would be a political one similar to Trump v. Biden, or a court-themed episode where panel members are judges and they get to punish the bucket pulls in ethical ways, or a prison one where the panel members are freshly escaped from prison. Look, the point is that a planned bit for an episode leaves less room for chance to take a grip and fuck things up. I mean, to be honest, I think we're probably going to see Kill Tony move in this direction in the next couple years. I mean, if not, I'd give the show a good 10 years before they get bought out or like Red Band gets replaced or something. But that's just a theory.